All right, and welcome into the Betting Pros PGA Podcast. The PGA Tour returns to Torry Pines less than a month after the iconic course in La Jolla, California hosted the Farmers Insurance Open. Now it will host the Genesis Invitational, which has been moved from Riviera Country Club in Los Angeles because of the recent fires. I'm your host, Seth Woolcock, filling in for the Pat Fitzmaurice, who currently on his way to Las Vegas. He's asking the books for the public's money back, who was lit all on fire last night if you bet any of the Chiefs overs or the Chiefs money line in the Super Bowl. And I am joined by a man who was recently seen requesting a trademark for the term #NorCal. He's the King of Spice, the regular co-host of this particular program and the host of the 19th Hole, Bo McBrayer. Bo, great to be with you today, man. How are you as we turn the page from football season to the spring, where the PGA Tour now takes main stage each and every weekend moving forward?
It's awesome, but it's also a little bittersweet because football is so near and dear to our hearts.
Yeah.
But it is officially golf season, so let's get at her.
Let's get at her, man. We got 4 majors still on deck for later in the year. On today's show, it looks like this: a quick recap of the WM Phoenix Open, also a betting preview of the Farmers Insurance Open. We'll share our early betting cards with you and our one and done picks to end the show. Before we jump in, I just want to shout out everyone who's tuning in, both on the Betting Pros YouTube channel and the audio feed. Thank you so much for all the support. While you're here, please do us a quick favor. Like this video if you enjoy this type of content. Also, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And also, I wanted to tell you about Bet365 and a special offer they have for our listeners. Turn $5 into $150 of bonus bets when you join Bet365. To claim this offer, just go to bettingpros.com/365, and all you have to do is deposit at least $10, and if you place a bet of at least $5, you're going to earn $150 in bonus bets. Again, that's bettingpros.com/365. Ages 21 and over only. You must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Louisiana, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, or Virginia. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or if you live in Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. Terms and conditions do apply. Thomas Detry won the Waste Management Phoenix Open in a runaway. Detry finished 24 under par, 7 shots clear of second-place finishers Michael Kim and Daniel Berger. Detry shot rounds of 66, 64, 65, and 65. Detry kept the field at arm's length the entire weekend. We saw our guy Scottie Scheffler trying to make a charge on Saturday and Sunday, but really couldn't sustain any lasting momentum. He wound up shooting an ugly 41 on the back nine Sunday, finished tied for 25th at 9 under par. What were your takeaways from the Phoenix Open, Bo?
We are not worthy. The blistering Belgian, Thomas Detry, first Belgian to ever win on the PGA Tour.
Wow.
He is his country is proud, and they should be. After that performance, 24 under par, very close to the tournament record. I had the winning score at around 21 under par, but this is usually kind of a front runner golf course, so you wouldn't expect to see a first time winner come out of this joint, especially someone who hadn't necessarily shown great form at Phoenix. I was very surprised, but I was also very impressed because 4 rounds of 65 or 3 rounds of 65 or better, all rounds 66. That's a 5 under par. It was his worst round. That's called a blistering pace by the Belgian. I can't believe he was completely poised the entire week. It was a flawless performance in Mortal Kombat, flawless victory. The guy was just dialed in. He locked in. He didn't make any mistakes. He made birdies when we were thinking, oh, somebody's going to come from the back to catch him because he's not faltering. Even that didn't work because the guy kept making birdies. And so, yeah, hats off to Thomas Detry. What a performance. And this will increase his odds of success down the road, especially in maybe more elevated events like this one.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do it at a place like Phoenix, where the crowd notoriously rowdy, always going, really at all the holes, but especially, that famous stadium hole there, it shows a lot of grit, shows a lot of determination. Hopefully, we can see Scottie Scheffler rebound. We know he was kind of the odds-on favorite going into that event. I thought it was great to see Jordan Spieth rounding out
It
with
was
a
great.
great, he's finally coming into form right now. The Masters aren't too far away, so I'm starting to kind of consider those future odds in that market as well. He finished tied for
Absolutely.
fourth, 16 under par. Any other notable winners or losers that you're kind of putting in the back of your head as we move past Phoenix here?
I don't think there were too many losers. We did see a near miss of the cut by amateur Luke Clanton.
Yeah,
He was a lot of favorites. He was one of my favorites on paper. Just didn't make the putts. A lot very similar to Scottie Scheffler, where you could see the momentum building, and then
sure.
he would three putt, or he would short side himself and wouldn't be able to get up and down for a par. There were a couple surprises, but mostly it was just dominance from an unlikely source in Thomas Detry. I was just impressed. I mean, even though when you don't win, you can take little notes for later on. It's like, okay, what comp courses does TPC Scottsdale have? Maybe we consider Thomas Detry more for those in the
hmm
future.
hmm
I really do like the Phoenix Open for that purpose, because it is a very correlative golf course, and so I think we're going to see a lot more Thomas Detry in the future going forward. It's just you have to make the putts there, and even though it's a flatter golf course with not that challenging, complicating greens, he did it better than anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we are on to the Genesis Invitational at the South Course at Torrey Pines. This is an elevated event, small but excellent field, no cut event as well. The South Course at TP is a par 72 measuring just over 7,765 yards. And because of its length, this is a course that really favors big hitters traditionally. The fairway's also the third narrowest on the PGA Tour, so you're going to have to be accurate off the tee as much as you are long as well. Middle iron and long iron play also important at Torrey Pines, because a lot of the approach shots are coming from these longer distance. The greens at Torrey Pines, they're POA, and POA greens traditionally means that we're going to get some inconsistency at times on them. Torrey Pines South, also known to be one of the hardest courses on tour in the strokes gained putting category, and the rough around these greens very thick, so scrambling can be a challenge. Bo, is there anything else that you'd add from a course standpoint or a modeling standpoint before we talk course history and weather forecast? How much are you really elevating bombers in your modeling this week?
You have to consider driving distance as a stat in your modeling, but this field being 80 men, no cut signature event, you're not getting a lot of the big bombers that don't also have great stats ancillary to driving distance in this field. A lot of these guys are either short hitters or above average hitters that also have great iron play
Hmm.
or great short games. So while it's in my model as maybe 7%, 8%, driving distance isn't the end all be all, because some of these guys have been overcoming not bombers type of distance for their entire careers. And so 7,700 yards, yeah, you would think it would favor the long hitters, but
Right.
this is a course that is pretty fair. It's really straightforward. If you find fairways, you're going to be fine. If you don't find fairways, the distance advantage isn't as great as a lot of people think.
Okay. The defending Genesis Open champion is Hideki Matsuyama. He was 17 under par last year at Riviera. He won by 3 shots over the likes of Luke List, Will Zalatoris as well. But the last 3 winners of the Farmer Insurance Open happening at Torrey Pines were Harris English. English, just a few weeks ago, he had a score of 8 under par. Some really tough conditions they were working through that week. Also, Matthew Pavon in 2024, he had a score of 13 under par. Max Homa the year before in 2023, also 13 under par. The early forecast for La Jolla calls for rain on Thursday and Friday with temperatures around 60 degrees, winds around that 10 to 20 miles per hour mark. And then dry conditions on Saturday and Sunday, temperatures still in those low 60s, winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. So better conditions on the weekends. Bo, how much are you factoring into your model the results we just saw from a few weeks ago here at Torrey Pines in an event that was non-elevated?
Very little. I
Oh.
do think the course matters, but again, at the Farmers, you only play three rounds at the South Course. You get a little bit of reprieve at the North Course for one round.
Mm-hmm.
This will be 4 rounds. They've had a few weeks to grow the rough up a little longer to make it a little tougher on these guys. You add rain to that, it increases the Bombers' advantage because the grass will be softer, it'll be longer, and finding the fairways will be even more important. So with a little bit of softness means the scoring is more favorable, but it also invites the longer hitters to really lash it down there in hopes of finding the fairway, but also getting closer to the hole with the iron shots. This is it's going to be a bear for all 4 rounds. No cut. It's just going to be more exciting to see all of these guys kind of vie for position in this field. It's loaded. We even got Tiger back.
Let's go. I'm excited for that, man. Tiger Woods still, even in his older age, must watch appointment television every single time this guy takes the course. Love what they've been doing over in the TGL this season as well. So hoping Tiger can have a big win. We know that the passing of his mom here just in the past week as well. So talk about a guy who's motivated, ready to go out there. We'll get to the odds in a moment, but first, I just wanted to remind everyone to please download the free Betting Pros app on iOS and Android. With the Sportsbook Sync, you can automatically track your bets across all major books in one spot, easily monitor your bet performance by sport, bet type, including game picks, props, and parlays. Create custom betting systems to find winning trends and profitable betting opportunities. Get a free trial of the Betting Pros Premium by downloading the BP app and activating your trial on the upgrade screen. Now, for the Genesis Invitational odds, all odds are courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook as of Sunday night. And we'll start with the favorite, Scottie Scheffler, plus 340. Rory McIlroy returns off a win, plus 700. Collin Morikawa, 14-1. We got Ludwig Oberg. We got Justin Thomas, Hideki Matsuyama, 22-1. Sung Jae Im, 28-1. Tom Kim, Patrick Cantley coming in at 30-1, and Tommy Fleetwood and Jordan Spieth, who we just talked about earlier in the show, had a great performance last week down in Arizona. They're 35-1. Who do you like among the favorites, if anyone, this week, Bo?
This is going to be a front runner type of event, and right off the bat, the top 3 odds are number 1, 2, and 3 in my model, starting with, of course, Scottie Scheffler. Extremely short odds for a tournament of this caliber. I probably won't even live bet him because of the strength of this field. Right. But Rory McIlroy is very live here. He's number 2 in my model at 7-1, and Collin Morikawa might even be my total favorite this week at 14-1. He's not a long hitter, but he's great everywhere else. Number 3 in my model, 14-1. Not a single stat outside of the top half of this field. That's impressive because you need some distance. He's 39th in distance, which is still in the top half of the 80 men. It's going to be a really, really strong ball striking clinic by all of 3 of these guys. But I think I favor Collin at his number the best.
Okay. Yeah, Rory at 7-1. He's probably my favorite value on the board. He opened last night. We saw him top 10 odds for him were like minus 125 at DraftKings. Those have been bet all the way down to minus 150. You can still get him around minus 125 at places like FanDuel, Bet365 if you are interested. I like Rory, just, 2 top 5s and 2 starts this year. He just won the Pebble a couple weeks ago. 3 for 3 finishing top 10 at Torrey Pines as well as of late. So any love for Rory, or do you think like the highs are just really high for him right now and might settle in down a little bit? Obviously, still top 3 in your model, so still maybe potentially some value at 7-1.
Yeah, I think the value's kind of been bought out of the market because of his win at Pebble Beach. I think he'd be closer to 10-1 if he didn't completely just smoke the field at Pebble Beach 2 weeks ago. Shout out NorCal. But yeah, really, it's about the strength of this field at the top. I don't think anybody, even Scottie Scheffler, should be shorter than 5-1 in this field. It's so loaded. Mm-hmm. Even Patrick Cantlay is not getting any favor from me, even though he's number 4 in my model, because 30-1 for what he's been doing the last year and a half is it's nonsense. Same with Tom Kim at 35-1. Doesn't make any sense. Like, we haven't seen these guys put forth consistent finishes against stronger fields in a really long time. So I'm going to probably just kind of say, we'll take one of those 3 favorite guys. And what you can do, even if the odds have slipped a little bit to where they're too short, is Rory McIlroy. I want him at 7-1. I want him at 7-1. I want his top 5 and his top 10. I'm going to ladder those results so that if he does go crazy, I'm getting it closer to a 10, 11, 12 to 1 payout, because if he wins, he's also top 5 and top 10. It's the beauty of golf betting, is if you have a really strong conviction and you feel like you're not getting the value, is you can create your own value by maybe adding a little bit of more risk baked in.
Yeah, and dude, there's nothing wrong with betting favorites. Like, I know a lot of times we
No,
all
not
like
in
to,
golf, at least. That's for sure.
yeah, we all like to be trendy, and in these sports, especially these sports that are not your classic stick and ball sports, like racing, like golf, sometimes you have to bet the favorite. You have to drink the juice, bite on the chalk a little bit, and that's all right. We're going to get some more odds here down the board a little bit, but first, I wanted to please ask our audience today to help shape the future of the Betting Pros podcast. Take our quick survey and go to bettingpros.com/survey, share your feedback, help us improve. Let us know where can Bo improve? Where can I improve? Where can our guy Pat Fitzmaurice improve? What do you want to see more or less of? Do you want more golf content? Do you want different style of content? We can help you, provide that for you. All you got to do, just take a minute or two, go to bettingpros.com/survey and enter those thoughts and feedback for us. And we greatly, greatly appreciate the support. Moving on to the mid-range options, Shane Lowry, Jason Day, they're both 40-1. Will Zalatoris, Tony Finau, also Taylor Pendrith, Sepp Straka, Rob McIntyre around that 45-1 mark. Sam Burns, Keegan Bradley, 50-1. Viktor Hovland, Maverick McNealy, Ben On, Russell Henley, Harris English, all around that 55-1 mark. Thomas Detry, Sahith Tiegla, also 60-1. Corey Connors, Minwoo Lee, 65-1. Do any mid-range plays appeal to you? It was, to me, pretty wild to see Viktor Hovland all the way down the board, but he's another guy who just hasn't been playing super great as of late, so that's probably why we're getting a 55-1 offering on him, Bo.
Yeah, and the one thing about Riviera Country Club that usually hosts this event is it puts such a premium on scrambling. Like, that course is very well designed. It's it's puts stress on the short game. Torrey Pines, not so much. Yes, it's important to scramble because the holes are so long. The fairways are so narrow. You have to be an amazing ball striker to hit these greens. They're faster Poana greens. I think that Viktor Hovland is a fine pick, especially at this number, 45-1, for a guy who just said, my game sucks right now. Yeah. And then he goes out the very next day and shoots 65. Like, I think you're playing us as fools because this guy was number 1 in the world very short time ago, or very close to number 1 in the world, major winner, FedEx Cup winner. This guy is going to be a big deal this season. At 45-1, we might never see that number again. His only bad stat is scrambling because of his chipping has never been great.
Right.
But he is number 1 in this field off the tee and top 5 in just about every other ball striking category. This course is going to demand great iron play, and I would love to have Viktor Hovland show us that his form isn't as bad as he's leading us on to it. There's also Torrey Pines specialist Tony Finau is number 7 in my model, and Willie Z. He is always in contention. Will Zalatoris, born in Northern California, so he's not foreign to it. Obviously grew up in Texas, but born in Northern California, has it in his blood. He's just as perfect a fit for Torrey Pines as it gets. So I will be throwing in my hat in the Will Zalatoris ring again. Maybe I'm ready to get hurt again, but Willie Z and I are homeboys in spirit, and I'll keep betting on him, especially at Torrey Pines. So this guy owns Torrey Pines.
Okay. What about Harris English? 50-1 is also top 20 number over at FanDuel, is plus 150. He won here last time just a few weeks ago, as we noted earlier in the program. Also 3 top 10s, 4 top 20s in his 9 trips to Torrey Pines. Was that an anomaly, or do you think we can at least find some value in English, maybe even a plus money top 20 bet?
I think it was pretty fluky. The weather 3 weeks ago was atrocious.
Mhm.
And Harris English's really his main strength is scrambling. And when the weather gets tough, he's a grinder. The
Yeah.
weather this week is too good. Like, the scoring conditions are going to be really good. And the field here is much stronger.
Mhm.
So we're getting a lot of sucker bet lines in here, including last week's winner, Thomas Detry, Harris English. We're getting loss of value baked into their lines because of
Mhm.
what they did on a different course or in different conditions on the same course. So I think that a lot of people are going to be suckered into Harris English, not knowing that he basically scrambled his ass off 3 weeks ago. This dude made everything. He missed a bunch of fairways. He missed a bunch of greens. This dude got up and down for par every single time.
Mhm.
And it was a miracle, wonderful win for him. Mad props. But
Right.
I'm not banking on him doing it again, especially on a line that's barely better than guys who've won here or have been top 5 every single time they've been here. So I'm going to stick with consistency. I'd much rather, in that same range, look at Mav McNealy, who's red hot, and it seems to be course proof. His improvement in his ball striking to match his amazing putting skills is noteworthy. Mav McNealy has been showing up with results every course. And I'm more likely to bet on him in this range than somebody who's the flavor of the week.
Yeah, Maverick McNealy, dude. I feel like he's someone you and Connor over on the 19th hole kind of dogged on for a few years and has slowly been getting better. So, yeah,
Guess where he's from, Seth?
I'm gonna guess Northern Vermont. Northern Vermont.
Yeah, Green Mountain State, not quite.
What about long shots here, Bo? Anyone with 70-1 odds or longer that you find compelling this week as we head back to the Torrey Pines?
Yeah, Wyndham Clark showing me things this last couple events. 80-1 for him is weird. Top 10 in this field in my model. Top 10 in a multiple strategies. He's a long hitter. He's a great putter. He crushes par fours, and that's very important. This golf course has some of the toughest par fours. Long par fours, short par fours, they're all really difficult at Torrey Pines South. And Wyndham Clark is number 4 in this entire strong field in strokes gained on par fours. He's number 2 in driving distance, top 10 in birdies or better gained, which is going to matter here. You have to make birdies to win, especially when the conditions are right. Harris English didn't have to make very many birdies because everybody else was struggling in the wind. Wyndham Clark is a really dark horse at 80-1. That's insane. That's crazy. He's got all the firepower. Major winner in the last couple of years. And then going down, Tom Hoge is a West Coast swing type of specialist. He looked awful last week, but that was kind of be too expected because he's more of a short course guy.
Okay.
And so maybe we get a little bit more magic out of his irons play. He's number 1 in this field on approach and top 10 in birdies or better gained. That one popped up for me, although that's more of a top 20 bet. The last one down here is the previous winner, many times won here, Tiger Woods. Have you heard of him? 200-1.
Never.
I don't
Wow.
think he's live to win here, but a top 20 bet on Tiger or even Mathieu Pavon, the Frenchman. Those are top 20 bets that I will have on my card. And why not? If we're getting a little crazy here, Nick Dunlap is down here in
Youngster.
He hasn't been playing well this year, but I think he's live to just snap out of it. With his youth, becomes a short memory. He's not going to dwell on bad results. He's just going to fire away and keep coming. The fact that he's even in this field is impressive. And 80 men, no cut. You get an aggressive young player like that. He's got the firepower to do it.
What about Justin Rose, 120-1, also plus 350 for a top 20, finished third at the Pebble just a couple weeks ago. Also, he did miss the cut at the Farmers here earlier this year. However, he did win the Farmers in 2019, also finished top 10 in 17 and 18, and finished 6th back in 2022, just a few seasons ago. So any love for Justin Rose, another veteran of the tour?
Yeah, he just hasn't shown me enough on this type of course off the tee to really make the rest of his game sing. He's a really good long iron player, but that's the caveat is you have to be in the fairway to make those long irons stick.
Right.
to these Poana greens. And off the tee, he's been a little squirrely. He's in the back half of off the tee stats, even tee to green stats overall,
Okay.
or outside the top 50 in this field, and number 62 in scrambling. That means that if he does miss off, if he's wayward at all, he's not getting up and down like he used to. So Justin Rose, if the conditions stay pretty mild, I still don't even know he can score with these guys. And then if they get nasty, he's still not quite there when it comes to form to overcome it. But I wouldn't be surprised because it's Justin Rose and he's done it for so many years. But I just think it's a lower likelihood.
Okay, let's get to the early betting cards. Bo, who are you officially betting as of now?
Officially betting as of right now, I'm going to start right at the top with, Collin Morikawa, 14-1. That's so nice.
Guy.
That's so nice. 14-1. Of course, I'm going to ladder top 5 and top 10 results separately. I like to do my outright bet, a nice heavy one for the guys I really like. But then for these guys that I extra like, I'll actually parlay their results and ladder them like really aggressively, because sometimes when you hit those, it makes your whole season. It makes your whole season. And I think Morikawa's entire bag is rolling. I'm also going to throw some money on Will Zalatoris, 45-1. It's too good to pass up. And then I'm going to officially go down all the way to Tiger Woods. I know I'm going to have him on my card at Torry Pines.
FOMO bet.
FOMO and results. The dude has won on this golf course 8 times.
Love it.
And he's not that old, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. How old is he now?
He's 48.
Okay, I was about to say
he's not even old enough for the senior tour. So it's just the injuries. We worry about how he can walk the course. He's walked this course a million times. I'm not worried about, even though it's long, it's not really that much elevation change. So I'm not worried about him walking the course for 4 days. And he's just got too many good vibes here to pass up.
Love it. I've got Rory 7-1 outright on my card. Also the top 10 for -125 at FanDuel. I am also taking that nibble, that flyer on Justin Rose, 120-1, and the plus 350 top 20 nibble as well. Give me some Rose this week. Now for the one and done competition. Bo, last week you had Kurt Kitayama. I know that's another one of your favorite local players. He finished 49th for $22,586. Pat had Hideki Matsuyama, who got a top 25 finish. Good for just nearly $70,000 as well. So, Bo, Pat picked first last week, so you're picking first this week. Who are you taking?
Oof. I am going to take... I still haven't solidified who I'm taking this week. So I'm going to take... Have I taken Will Zalatoris yet? That's Willie Z is my pick. So if I've already taken him, I'll amend it. But Will Zalatoris is my pick for this week.
Okay, Pat, his first choice this week was Sepp Straka. That is a trendy pick. I've been seeing a lot of people talking about him on the internet. So Straka will be Pat, and then Bo is going with Willie Z for his one and done pick. All right, that's it for us on this week's edition of the Betting Pros PGA Podcast. We'll be back next week. Bo and Pat will be with a preview of the Mexico Open. From Bo McBrayer, I'm Seth Woolcock. Take care, y'all.